Start your training in a calm, safe area without distractions. Be sure to have a supply of your dog's favorite treats. It also helps if he's a bit hungry. Use short, focused training sessions of 5 to 15 minutes, keeping things fun and happy for your dog. Speak in a calm, soft voice with commands such as sit or down. Use a higher-pitched, excited voice for Fido, come, and to praise your dog as in good boy. Never yell at or harshly scold your dog. This may frighten him and slow down the learning process. Resist the urge to repeat a command over and over before your dog has learned to associate the word with the behavior. If you say sit, sit, sit over and over before your dog actually sits, you'll be teaching him to ignore the word. The easiest way to teach your dog to sit is to use a food lure. Hold a tasty treat just over your dog's nose. Say sit and move the treat back slightly over his head. When his bottom hits the ground, reward with the treat. Your dog's body is like a seesaw. When the front end goes up, the back end goes down. If your dog needs a little help, gently lift his head using the gentle leader and a cupped hand under his jaw. Say sit. When his bottom hits the ground, praise and reward. After a little practice, simply give an upward gentle pull on the leash, lifting your dog's head to encourage his bottom to sit. Remember, when your dog is sitting, there must be no tension on the leash. This release of tension is the message to your dog that he's doing what you want. Your dog should learn to sit when asked by every member of your family. Wait until your dog sits quickly and eagerly when asked before trying to teach stay. Don't try to teach stay without the control of the leash. You might end up teaching catch me if you can. With your dog sitting at your side or in front of you, grasp the leash with one hand close to the leash snap, allowing just a few inches of slack. Give the command stay in a soft, pleasant voice while using your other hand to give a stop signal. While still facing your dog, move only a step or two away from your dog. Let the leash slide through your hand as you move back, but allow only an inch or so of slack. Too much slack will allow your dog to move before you can steady him. If your dog has remained in position, go back to him after only a few seconds. Reward, praise, and stroke. Then give a release cue such as OK. When practicing stay, be prepared for your dog to attempt to move out of position. Almost all of them do. Watch his body language closely to anticipate when he's about to move so that you can prevent it. Simply pull up gently on the leash. This tips his head upward, reinforcing the sit. Release tension immediately as your dog relaxes into the sit. Don't increase the time of stay and the distance from the dog in the same lesson. Gradually increase either time or distance until your dog learns what you expect from him. Once your dog stays without attempting to move, gradually increase the time until your dog has learned to stay for a minute or so, and increase the distance until you are at the end of the leash. Then use a long line for even more distance. Your dog should hold the stay until you release him. If at any time your dog fails to hold the stay, go back to a shorter distance and/or time. As your dog gets the hang of it, practice in different locations with other distractions. Begin with your dog sitting. Hold a treat or toy about an inch in front of his nose and slowly lower your hand down to the floor. The dog's head should follow downward. When he reaches to take the goodie, say down and slowly move your hand away from him. As his body lowers to the down position, immediately reward him. Next, lure his nose to one side towards one of his hips until he shifts his weight and rests on the opposite hip. This is important because if your dog's rear legs remain directly under him, he's in a ready position to quickly stand up. Shifting to one hip produces a more comfortable, compliant, and secure down position from which he is less likely to move. If you are having difficulty, use a more desirable treat or exciting toy, or wait until the dog is more hungry to increase his motivation. Do not push down on his back. Remember, dogs resist pressure, so you'll simply make him push back against you. If your dog gets up, don't try to pull down on the leash, as this will trigger your dog's opposition reflex and make him try to push back up against the leash. Instead, lure him back down with a treat. After your dog consistently lies down at your request, your dog should learn to lie down when asked by every member of the family. Next, you can begin to teach him a down stay in the same way you did with the sit stay. More than any other command, teaching your dog to always come when called will require a commitment of time, patience, and consistency on your part. In the beginning, never ask your dog to come unless you have full control of the leash and can guarantee his success. Start by asking your dog to sit and stay. Take a couple steps back and say, "Fido, come," in a happy voice. When he reaches you, give the reward and let him know he's a good dog. Repeat this process in 5 to 10 minute lessons each day, gradually increasing your distance until you're at the end of the leash. If your dog hesitates to come, give a gentle tug on the leash and make sure you're still using the strongest motivating reward possible. Once he comes consistently when asked, you can increase the distance with a long line. When transitioning to off-leash, work in a safe enclosed area and begin with very short distances. If at any time your dog fails to come, go back to on-leash work until he's once again consistent. Because the gentle leader directs your dog's nose, where the nose goes, the body must follow. If your dog tries to pull or lunge, simply hold the leash firmly so that his nose and head turn back to look at you. This makes it virtually impossible for him to lunge. Praise him when he's walking at your side. Or if your dog lunges at other dogs, you can replace that behavior with a sit-stay. Our goal is to prevent jumping in the first place, and the easiest way is to replace it with the desired behavior of sit-stay. Set up some practice sessions similar to the situations when your dog jumps on you or others. Now, if your dog jumps on visitors, use the gentle leader with the leash attached. When visitors arrive, have the dog sit-stay before you open the door. Hold the cord or leash close to the snap, leaving only an inch or two of slack so you can quickly steady your dog if he begins to move. As your guests enter, make sure they ignore your dog, especially if he tries to move or jump up. Try to anticipate his movement, then quickly pull up and forward to prevent the jump. Repeat stay as he relaxes into the sitting position. Immediately release the tension on the leash once he is sitting. If he jumps, remember to pull forward and up. Do not pull down. This is a natural tendency, but it's not effective. If he still resists sitting, use the cupping technique. If he stays sitting as your visitors enter, reward him with praise and stroking. After a moment or two, ask your visitor to greet him with praise and a treat if you'd like. Practice the arrival of visitors several times until your dog catches on and holds his sit-stay. Continue these sessions for the next few days or weeks if needed. Since you never know when someone might be coming to the door, use the gentle leader with the leash attached. Some dogs bark excessively when out for a walk. With gentle leader, it's easy to replace the behavior with a sit-stay. Pull up and forward on the leash to close your dog's mouth, stopping the barking and reinforcing the sit-stay. Immediately release the tension and reward with treats and praise. Repeat as needed. If you like, you can calmly say, "Quiet," or "Hush" as he stops barking. Leading behaviorists and trainers report that gentle leader is particularly effective in helping fearful and shy dogs feel more secure and calm in situations that previously produced anxiety. With gentle leader, your dog instinctively senses and responds to your leadership, allowing him to relax and let you be responsible for his welfare. When fear and anxiety are reduced, your dog will learn faster and be a more rewarding companion. There are many reasons why a dog may exhibit signs of aggression. For instance, fear, pain, or territorial instinct. While gentle leader can be an extremely effective and important tool in dealing with many aggression problems, it is not a cure. Always follow the advice of a professional when dealing with aggression.